Hello, dear friends! It's so good to see you today. I am so excited. We have Shelby and Kelly on today. So it's going to be like a jam-packed dynamic duo. And if you haven't decided to sign up for the Six Figure Systems Mastermind, sign up ends on Friday. So definitely make sure you're thinking about it. Let's go for it. I think it'll be really fun. We're going to go 6 months. It starts on next Tuesday, so 6 days from now, and we're going to go all the way till October. So that is my little plug. And Shelby, it is so good to see you today.
Hi. So good to
How
see
are
you.
you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's doing the weird thing where it's like quiet for a second. So let me switch my like Wi-Fi for a second. So it's like to do. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I think yes.
Perfect. That's what it needed for me too. So, my dear, how
Hi.
can I help you today?
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to think what would be the best topic. So
Get me caught up and like give me also like a win because I always like to start with like wins and like figuring out like what's going on with you and your business, and then we can figure out
yeah.
what needs work.
Okay, so I'm getting ready for the next iConnect conference, which is
Mm-hmm.
on April 22nd.
Okay.
We've sold 14 tickets. My goal's 40, so I I wasn't
Awesome.
feeling any like way about it because we were just kind of selling, and now I'm like, oh my gosh, we're like under that 30-day mark, and I thought I'd at least be halfway at like 25 or so. So
Mm-hmm.
now I do feel a little bit like worried, but I know I still have time.
Yep.
So just like I'm being more proactive. But the fact that I've like sold 14 is like really good because then that's more than I had sold at this time from the last conference.
Mm-hmm.
With you know minimal work. I mean, I'm still reaching out and stuff too, but it feels like those sales just kind of like came in pretty easily.
Yeah.
Um, which is great. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. I have two consultations on Thursday for coaching
What?
one-on-one too. Yeah, I haven't had one in a while, and all of a sudden I have two. Yeah.
I like okay, how did this happen? How did these people come in?
Okay. So the one of them, um, I hosted that free virtual meetup.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then afterwards, I like followed up with everybody and,
Mm-hmm.
was like, thank you for coming. And then I, did a little like, hey, I'd love to, coach with you. One
Mm-hmm.
of the guy, and then so the guy like scheduled and he just barely got his prosthetic eye. Like at this point, he only had it for 5 days and I probably has had it for like, just over a week or whatever. So I feel like, yeah, he'd be like a really good, person to help through the program. So I'm excited about that. And then this other guy just like reached out to me on Instagram. I've never like seen him,
Mm-hmm.
never anything. He's from New Zealand too. So he's like, I don't know, the time difference will be a problem. Like, well, here's my schedule. Like,
We'll
so
figure
he
it
was able
out.
to schedule something.
Oh, oh my God, this is insane.
I know.
How does this feel?
It feels really good, really good. I feel like a little nervous because I haven't had a consultation in a while. So, I feel like the pressure is like on, but I don't want it to be.
Yeah.
But on
So,
the other hand, with that, like the coaching clients that I am working with, like I just feel so much more confident every time I'm meeting with them, and my like coaching ability is like I feel like increased and the confidence that way. So I'm like, okay, well, hopefully that just kind of bleeds over into the consultation.
oh, for sure. And one of the things that like I've been thinking about, like within doing consults and stuff, like I was thinking about like for the launch and things like that, I've realized that like the pressure is on was like definitely a thought I had been having. And the way that I shifted it was like I got a chance to like think about what like I know how to help people. Like
Hmm.
I know what you think about like I know how to help like now that you're like do like the coaching clients that you're working with now that it's going so well,
Yeah.
I want you to think that like, oh, it's like, yeah, this is go like I know how to help him. Like anyone
Yeah.
if you're thinking about like this guy, he just lost his prosthetic guy, can you help him? Or just got a prosthetic guy?
Yeah. Yes.
Like and then this other guy in New Zealand. do you know
Yeah.
enough about him to be like, oh, I could like whatever he's going through, I can either help him or point him in the right direction.
Yes. Yeah. And the fact that
Right.
he like found me and reached out, like took the time to like DM me
Mhm.
and ask about it and about, the time difference, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, he must
This
be,
is
interested.
Yes. And I think that, like, for me, the biggest thing is like getting into that energy of like, okay, what can I do to help them? Like, I don't need to help them with everything, but the things that
Mhm.
I want to help them with, like, are so insanely valuable.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about like both of these guys, like, maybe you can't help them with everything, but you can point them in the right direction and you can give them tools that they never, like, they don't even know what they need, but you do. You're like, I know what you need because this is what I needed.
Hmm.
And at least it's going to help you with the baseline and it's going to bring you even more peace in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Just like that, yeah,
Yeah.
point of service
From that
and
point of
just full.
service, it's like getting it from yourself to focus on that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
not
And
even about me.
it isn't about you. And then, because like if you think about like one of the things that I've realized is like I think a lot of us, especially as like solopreneurs, because it is just us in the business, we make it mean a lot of things about us.
Hmm.
Like we didn't, and I think that like that, like one of the things that like we talk about is like taking 100% responsibility. Like if someone doesn't sign up or things like that, then like how can we take responsibility from it? But I don't want you to take responsibility from a pressured place.
Okay.
Like so because I think that like getting notes on consults and things like that, I think that can put like so much pressure, like thinking that like, oh well, I caused this and like it causes so much pressure. I want you to think about like, okay, what could have gone a little bit better about this? And thinking about the within the virtual meetup and thinking about like this not the I Connect conference, what would you do? Because like Shelby, I know you and I know like you are just so fun and you're like this bright light and you try so fucking hard for your people. Like when I look at you, that's what I see. Like you'll go to bat for them no matter what. And there are people that need and want you in their life to work with you. So if you were just thinking about like from like an authentic place and like just a like pure you place, how would you handle those consults differently?
I think it would just be, yeah, like full of like service and value and just like what I can like pour into them that's going to help them like on that call in that hour
Mm-hmm.
in that moment
Mm-hmm.
rather than like anything else. So
Mm-hmm. And
just
I
like,
think just being like, let's talk about where you can be like, and like building that vision for them, a possibility that like their life doesn't have to be what it has been.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, it's like being like, this is an option for you. And like you're gonna heal no matter what. It's gonna be cool. Like you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I promise. And I know that this program can really help you get to where you want to go
Yeah.
too. You know?
Yeah. In like ways that like they wouldn't, nor like most people wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
think of on their own or like, have like, yeah, they could do it on their own, but this will just give them ways that I don't know what I'm trying to say.
No way. Like I know exactly what you're saying. It's like they're gonna get there faster.
Yes.
You know, and it
Yeah.
won't
Maybe like
be as hard,
softer and easier.
softer and easier. I like that. Softer and easier transition. And there's some people that don't want a soft and easy transition. That they think that their life has to be really hard and that's due to
Hmm.
past trauma that they've been through, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But this it's like there are so many people that want this to be soft and easy.
Hmm.
And so we start to build the vision. I think they're coming to you because they're like, my life could be softer and easier.
Hmm.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that would be so, so awesome. Like the people that you mentor. Like if you think about this like a mentoring relationship with like the programs you've done, it's like thinking about like the way that you've been able to see them change and
Yeah.
things like that. It's like they don't even see a future for themselves that's different than the current reality.
Right. Right.
So taking that energy with the eye connect, 14, that means you've got like 26 to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And last time we totally did this.
I
Like,
know we did.
so
It,
what kind of things do you want to do from this place of like, I know I can help them. This is going to be such great service for them. What can you do for this I connect now instead of being like the pressure's on?
hmm Um, well, I mean, I feel like I've, sent lots of emails and DMs, but I could definitely like circle back, um, and, check like check in and like ask. I guess because I just normally like share the information, so I guess I could like check in, ask them like if they have questions or like what I
So,
don't know, coming from more like a personal level, like we could.
yes, like I want you to take each of them, and Shelby and I work together, so she knows that like there's a note section when you like talk to people, and I want you to find out like what are their goals for this month.
Hmm.
When's it is I Connect is semi-annual, right?
Yeah. Let's see, October and then April.
Okay,
I don't have another one.
yeah, so it's 5 months.
Yeah.
So, or it's close to 6 months. So if you're thinking about like what are their goals for the summer, like what do they need to hear that would make them so excited and just like, oh my gosh. And what I wrote down here is I was like, what about like if I feel like when you're thinking about it for you, you're like, how can I sell it to them to make them come, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Versus what if you think about like a party? Like this is gonna be the best like April 22nd. If you have ever had any change in like vision, like you want to be here.
Hmm.
It's gonna be amazing. Why is it gonna be like amazing?
Well, just being in a room full of people that can relate and share, very similar stories and experiences. It's going to have like, some really exceptional speakers that are very knowledgeable. Um, I'm trying to like, yeah, like really create like, yeah, a fun atmosphere with like the breakout rooms
Mhm.
um, and do some prizes. But I
Yeah.
don't know if those are the things that like sell it. It's more, I think I'm just trying to hit on like
But do
the
you see how
feeling.
you're saying? Do you see how you're saying like I want to sell it
Yeah,
versus I want to like bring them in and be
right.
like you know what I mean? And like so it's like I want to know how it's 6 hours, right?
This one's 3.5.
Okay, so it's like this will be the best 3.5 hours of their
Yeah.
lives. Like they've never been so seen, heard, supported, understood, all those things,
Hmm.
right? So it's like being like, I want you to feel like so seen, like
Hmm.
seen. You could do it like being like, I want you to feel so seen by a group of people that are going through the same stuff as you. I want you to feel like you've never been so connected to people.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
want you to feel like you are like hearing other people's stories and being like, I'm hurt. Like, it's like they hear me, they know who I am. Or it's like,
Hmm.
I would say that this is like, that's seen. The knowledgeable speakers are understood. And,
Hmm.
and it's like talking to people that they can relate to, it's heard.
Yeah.
And then like the connected. Like, I want you to think about like, if you heard about this conference, what would you want to, what would make you want to come?
Um, Probably just like knowing, yeah, that there is gonna be like a lot of people there that have similar stories, and that we get to like talk and meet each other, um, just like the interactions.
Yeah. Okay. So I want you to like talk about like the interactions and how much it meant to you and how you want to give that to them. And like
Hmm.
this is a gift to them.
Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah, I want to try it because so when I do the virtual meetups, 'cause I just had one, I
Yeah.
feel like so energized after, and because everyone's just like sharing, and it just so I don't know how to like convey that feeling exactly. But I mean,
And you can
definitely
say there's
like,
no feeling like it.
yeah, okay.
It's like you can, as you talk about it, you can be like, there is nothing like the feeling of being in this room. You're gonna feel so energized and you're gonna just hear all these people sharing. It's gonna be the thing that will uplift you through the summer and beyond. Like I want this to be your summer sanctuary where you go and like have a complete reset that you just feel like you are ready to take on all of the things that are coming in the next months, that you are just ready and like you feel so supported and like you've got this community that you didn't know you even needed,
Hmm. Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I like that too.
And
Yeah.
like what would you, if you saw someone talking about like having this like thing, they're like, hey, there's no feeling like this conference, you definitely want to come, you're gonna feel
Hmm.
so energized, like I would love to, and like not like from like you want to come, but it's like I would love to have you, it would be just so great, I would like, I if we've never met, I would love to have you there, it's gonna be the best time,
Yeah.
and you are welcome to join. So it's like I think that would be I think having that shift,
Okay.
like to being like there's nothing like this and I just can't wait to have you there, I think would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah. That's way better than just the salesy like
Yeah.
angle.
And I
Uh,
want you to think about like the people that you're talking to. I want you to think about like what you, if you had just entered this space and there's this amazing leader, she's like killing it, like just exudes like all the peace that you are looking, what would you want her to say?
well, first I think just like yeah, reaching out and yeah, I'm trying to think about like saw someone in the community and they reached out to me, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like it just feels good to be seen and like connected with and like feeling a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, like being invited to something like I just got invited to Portland to go meet up with like these other like one-eyed influencers, and I was telling my boyfriend like when they I'm like I got invited by like the top one-eyed people,
The top one-eyed people.
Yeah.
Isn't it
They want me to
incredible?
come hang out.
And so it's like, yeah, I think that like being like, oh my God, like they want me. Of course they
Yeah.
want you. And like they want to like be a part of that. And they're like, they've been going through like doctor's appointments and things like that where people are like seeing them, but they're not seeing them. Like as a
Hmm.
human. It's almost like they're treating them, but they're not seeing them.
Yeah,
Or like
exactly. Yes.
family members are like sympathizing and doing things, I'm sure, all in the wrong way a lot of time, versus
Yeah.
being like, you're a fucking badass and you should be here. Like, this is a group of badass, one eyed people that
Hmm.
are like ready to roll. Like, do you see how different that is? That
Yeah.
energy of being
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I like that. That makes way more sense than just putting myself in that, that position or how I felt when other people have reached out to me on social media that I look up to or that like I want to be a part of. And, you know,
yeah,
that's
instead
much
of
better.
like saying the things that like is generic and typed out,
Hmm.
like maybe like looking at their page and being like, hey, like, are you okay? Like, what I would love to know, like, what kind of things are you going through? I'm actually like hosting like this situation. It's like this conference, and like I'm like thinking about some things to like add to it, and I'd love for you to be there. And if there's anything that you need, like you let me know. Or like those 14 people that you already have, being like, I just am so grateful for you, and I'm so proud of you. Like you are such an awesome person. You're going through this whole situation and that's okay. Like I can support you. And what can I do to help?
And what was the last
And
part? Sorry.
what can I do to help? Like how
Oh,
can I
okay.
help, and be like this next added layer of awesomeness in their life.
Okay. Okay. I like that too a lot.
you
Yeah.
know? It's like it's just such a different shift from like being like, how can I sell them into this?
Mm-hmm.
Versus like, I'm just here to serve. I'm just
Yeah.
here to show up and serve. Like, if you think about like the move and things like that, and like all the things that like you've been going through, which is like so awesome. It's like it all works out, you know? It's like, and it's like, but when you show up as like your like authentic Shelby self for them to like just experience being in your presence, I think it's something that they like truly want to have in their life.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
So what would be different? So when you're thinking about this conference and the consults, I want you to think about like if there are any thoughts that are holding you or feelings like that are holding you back from just showing up in that service energy.
Um, I think I just, for some reason, like forget to be in that energy, even though that's like what I feel like I just naturally do, like when I'm
Yeah,
posting things. But then
that's
when I
great.
turns around and I'm like trying to, yeah, like get people to sign up or come, then I like my brain just automatically like switches like, oh, sales mode, for some reason. So
Yeah.
I just have to like, yeah, have a
What
new.
when you do the posts and things like that, what are you thinking?
It's strictly like how can this, yeah, serve the community, what can it like this inspire someone to do or someone to feel, yeah, it's it's like so different. It's
Uh-huh.
just all about like the community and giving them different ideas or tips and tricks or
Hmm.
inspiration.
Uh-huh. And I want you to like how does it feel when you're doing that? Like what's the emotion that you feel when you're posting?
Like fun and easy,
Yeah.
yeah, fun, just like, and I have this attitude that's like, oh, I'm gonna try this. I'll see how this lands,
Uh-huh.
because I think I've been posting so much and so regularly, consistently that I'm like, oh, if it doesn't get, if it doesn't land, then I'll try something different, So I just already
Hmm.
like am like have this energy behind it that's like whatever, like just you
I
know
okay.
try this.
So I want you to think about like if you've got that thought loop for posting, you can have that for coaching or for consults too.
Okay.
And I want you to think about like going onto a consult and being like, this is strictly show up and serve the community.
Hmm.
This is going to be the most fun hour, fun,
Hmm.
informative, easy, like hour of their life. I'm going
Yeah.
to give them so many ideas and tips and tricks that they never have thought of. And I'm going to see how it
Yeah.
lands. And I'll try something different for the next one because there's so many people coming.
Yeah.
I've got so many
Yeah.
opportunities to post. I've got so many opportunities to do consults.
Yeah. That feels good. Yeah.
You
Much
know what I
better.
mean? So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for you to try this. And I want you to like think about that with like each, I want you to like, we're going to tweak like every time that you do a message for people, try and tweak it and personalize it a bit.
Okay.
And being
Okay.
like, okay, how can I say this for them in what they're going through right now?
Okay.
But how is that feeling for you? How are you feeling like with all of that now?
It feels much better. Yeah. I was like a little just like clouded, and this just like opened a whole new, thought process and energy and like window to, you know, because I'm like, yes. I
And
don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but it's definitely has me, wanting to like reach out to people in a different energy of this energy.
and I think it's like that being committed to helping them, but detached
Yes.
from them as a person.
Yes.
Like it's like you're not detached. Like I think the reason why your posting is so easy, like ish for you right now, is because like you're like, um, it's like you're almost like finding the. I feel like you're finding the little piece inside of like that same detachment with your posting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. 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 I like I'm committed and that's why I do it and I'm consistent and it's like fun. But yeah, I'm not attached to
Yeah.
the
And like
outcome.
if you can like place it in your body, like that fun feeling, then I feel like that can that's really going to shift things for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, well, I love you.
Yay. I love you too. Thank you so much.
Yes, I love you too. Sorry, I'm texting Kelly as well because she's coming on next. I was like simultaneously texting her, but I love you. And I just think that you
That's,
are so, so awesome. So free.
thank
And
you. I love you too.
I will hopefully see you soon.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Bye, lady.
Love it. Bye. Thank you.
Of course. I'm trying to share this with Kelly. Hopefully she can see it and come on as well. I'm switching back. And then, but I feel like that is like such a good shift about like being in your business. And one of the things that like I realized this morning is like bringing that authenticity of yourself into your business. I feel like a lot of times we can get mixed messaging about like what is a business and what a business should be. And I think that like for me, it's like I am a pretty energetic person and a pretty positive person. And I think that for a while I saw my positivity and energetic kind of way as not being like professional and not being like what people are looking for with a business, and along with like a whole bunch of just like unhelpful thoughts from the past. And what I realized is that like I want to build a business in a way that's like creating something that's important, something that is like who I am in the world. And that's what I want you guys to think about as well. So, and I think that like one of the things I'm going to post about with the what's it called, with the group is like I feel like it's figuring out how to get this same feeling that you're like you have in your business, having that same feeling that like you have when you feel like you're like the most authentically yourself. And I think that's like what having the systems does. I think it creates that. So I'm going to share this with Kelly and see if this works. But if not, I hope you guys have been doing an awesome day. And this launch has been crazy. I'm learning so much. I feel like I'm honestly like in some ways like back at the beginning of my business again, like because it's like, you know, doing something new, doing something different. It's like I just don't understand how people do this without help. It's like kind of crazy. Great. I was like, I see you, Kelly. I was just thinking about that and talking with Robin. I'm like, I have like 5 coaches. I'm part of like 2 different groups. I'm like, I don't know how people do this without help. And I'm so proud of you if you do, but you also don't need to. So these are my thoughts for you. And I'm going to bring on Kelly to see if this works. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
I'm doing so good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about the technical snafu. There's always something.
There's always a little something.
Oh,
Was it the update?
no, I never could find, I don't know where to go to find the updates, but I didn't see anything that said update, so
All right.
I don't know. Here
Who
I
knows?
am.
But here you are. So you are starting a group very soon. How can I? Oh, first off, I started Shelby's with a win. So
Okay.
let's start with a win, and then how can I help you?
All right, fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
So the win, I don't know if we spoke last time. I have a girl, a college girl now, which is fun. So she's
Oh,
transferring. So that's fun.
you
Yes.
did not tell me. That's so fun.
I know that is, and that's what I love. This other stuff is great. I get it, but the college, that's what I love. So it's fun doing that again.
Oh, I'm so glad. And like,
Me too.
you mean a college girl, like a girl in college, or a girl that is like, is this for essays or for organization?
Essays. Yeah.
Amazing. Because she's
Essays and essays and applications and stuff. She's transferring from Wake Tech to go on.
I love it. So what, now that you've gotten your organization filled out, we're creating a group for essays, right?
Perhaps.
Tell me the things.
Perhaps.
What's going on?
Well, I'm not sure. I still am not convinced, or I've not convinced myself that the group thing is going to work.
Okay.
I just don't know how these kids are going to do it in a group.
Okay.
Like she's talking about, like her essay is about how she had a meltdown, like a mental meltdown, and what she learned from that. I would imagine if she was in like a group of 6 or 7 people, I don't know if she'd want to talk about that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So there's like a vulnerability aspect there.
And she already wrote the essay, which is nice. But I don't know if I would get that quality of writing if she were sitting in a group of 7 people, or even if she knew them. I mean, it's not something that she's particularly proud of. And I don't necessarily get that deep of topics. Usually I get the, whatever, the baseball, what made a home run, whatever story. But sometimes I do. And you obviously don't know when you're going to get those stories and when you don't.
Yeah. Well, and if you're thinking about, like, there are lots of ways to go about it. But if you're thinking that it's not going to, like, if you're thinking that she wouldn't open up, it's going to be a lot harder for you to solve that problem of, like, creating a space of, like, people being vulnerable enough to share this, like, really deep stuff for them. And I think that, like, it's interesting because I've noticed a shift with, like, a lot of, from what I have seen examples of, like, there's a lot more discussion about mental health and things like that with these generations. Like, I would say even more than, like, so I'm technically, like, a millennial, but I think, like, Gen Z and, like, they are, like, so open. Like, I see, like, my brother's friends, like, we're only 2 years apart, but they're like, oh yeah, I'm on, like, anxiety medicine, I've had depression, I've had, like, depressive episodes, suicidal ideations, and, like, eating disorders, and there's, like, boop, 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 and I'm like, well, I've also been there, and those are things that but to post about that kind of stuff, like, it took me a really long time to where I could ever get to, like, a space where I could share that. I think they might be more open than we think, but it's also, like, creating that community and being like, I want to create a community of people before you even go to college that are all, like, forged together through this, like, experience of writing. And, like, it's like, it's, when I think about a group, it's not just, like, to communicate, like, information and, like, teach them how to do it, but it's also, like, I think that you're thinking about, like, trying to make the one-on-one vision fit for group versus creating a different vision for the group. So it's like, with the vision of the group, it's like, I want you to imagine that all these parents know that their kids struggle with writing, and they feel, like, kind of ashamed that they're, like, maybe these kids, like, struggle with writing. They really, really want to get into schools. And then when they talk with their friends, they're not feeling that same kind of connection. They're not feeling, like, that same kind of, like, support. They're not feeling like they are heard. And, like, even with their parents, and it's like, okay, I want to be the person that brings together this group of, like, rising seniors that can create this community that feels so good for them. Can you hear me also? I hope. You can't hear me? Oh, no. I saw, like, the little microphone, and it said, like, oh, yeah, I see it. So it said it muted. I didn't even know you could do that. Can I do that too? I don't know. That's funny. You might need to leave and come back. And if you do, that's okay. Can you hear me? Maybe? Oh, no. No. Did you get, like, a phone call or something? Oh, no.
I got a phone call.
I hear
We're
something.
good. I can hear you. I'm back.
Was it like, did you get like a phone call or something? Because that can
Mm-hmm.
happen. Yep.
That's exactly
Okay.
what I did.
Exactly. So what I was saying though is like I want you to think about you're selling them a community and like selling them it's like I want you to think about like how having a community could serve them
Mm-hmm.
and be the best thing. It's like and for me like one of the things I love about like having a group is like having all these other brains that are there. Like Christina would be like, "Oh, like have you heard about like this chat something like that is it's an AI system
Mm-hmm.
that can help you to write your content." And like so we were like, "Oh my God, that's awesome. Like send us the link for that." And then like another person was like, "Oh, I'm like doing a podcast for somebody. That's a great idea." And so it's like, "Oh, like that's a great idea. Like everybody should do that." What if like these kids have ideas for the other kids and they're like, "Oh, like they want that actual collaboration that they might not be getting." Like that the teachers are trying to facilitate, but I think there's so much stigma with the school system that it's hard to create like that actual collaborative environment versus something that's like outside of school
Hmm.
where it's like I want you guys to have this tight knit group of people. We're going to be together for 6 months. We are going to cheer and like we're going to celebrate your victories and we're going to like support you if this isn't work. Like if you're feeling the struggles of this, and like this community is like the one space for you to feel like heard,
Okay.
you know, and like that's how because I think that you've been trying to like make your one-on-one fit with the group versus
Mm-hmm.
making the fit for everyone.
Right. I think you're right. All right. Make group fit. All right. Well, that's a
So
good point. Just a little mind shift.
you know, just like a little shift and being like, okay, so like all the parents that you've talked to, the 15 of them, yeah,
Right.
like why do they want to do a group?
Um, I don't necessarily know about a group. I haven't talked to anybody about a group. Was I supposed to talk to somebody about a
Yeah.
group?
But I'm
Okay.
saying like because if you were to talk to them about group now, you'd be talking to them and you'd be like, I don't know if it's gonna like with you wouldn't say the words, but you'd be like, I don't know if it's gonna work for you. I don't know if this is good. So we do not want to
Okay.
talk to people until you're totally like sold on it in your own mind that this is gonna be the best thing for these kids.
Right.
So
So for the majority, obviously, there's always the piece that's not missing. And this is going to sound ugly, but it's not. The parents don't want anything to do with this. They want the essays done, they want the applications done, and they don't give a flip. They just want it done. I bet you out of the 20 kids I had last year, one parent read the essay. They don't, I mean, they just want it
yep.
done.
Okay. Now, what about the students? Why do they want so it's like if they don't care about it, they just want it done.
Mm-hmm.
How can we make your business something where the essays just get done for sure? Like they will guarantee that the essays are just done.
Well, I mean, I guess they get done. I guess that is the guarantee, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get done. Some are faster than others, but they get done.
Yeah. So how can we guarantee that everyone is going to get, it's like that this is a result that will happen when they do the group with you?
Well, I have my little 10-step program.
Mm-hmm.
So we follow the little 10-step program. And I mean, they just have to do it. They just have to do the 10-step program. And if you sign up for me, you're doing the program and the essay's getting done.
So with the kids that are one-on-one,
Mm-hmm.
what do they do that's different than you would do with the group?
Nothing. I mean, I don't think I would do anything different.
Right.
I mean, I
Like,
would get up, we do pre-work first. We do what do I write about? What should I write about? We go over the prompts for the essays. So, I mean, I wouldn't do anything different.
okay. So I want you to think about like, but they do the pre-work, they're sharing it with you, right?
Right. Generally, I'll email. So that's the first thing we do. I'll send them like some little pre-work exercises, and they email it back just so I know. Like, does this kid play hockey? Is this kid a cheerleader? Just so I have something to talk to them about.
Yeah.
I send that. They send that to me before the first meeting, and then yeah, I do read over it. We talk about it. We'll talk about that's usually my first meeting. We'll talk about the pre-work and then we go over the prompts and what should I write about.
Yeah, so I want you to imagine you've got
Mm-hmm.
5 kids in front of you in like a Zoom room, right? And they're like all like doing this, like they've done the pre-work, they submit it to you ahead of time, and you're like, okay, hey Jimmy, can you unmute and tell me like what are like your top 3 for the pre-work that you've done? Okay, great, because we all want to get to know each other. This is our first time meeting. I want you to trust the people that are in this group. Everything that's said here is confidential, but what I want you to do is this group is for you to get ideas, to collaborate, to feel like this support, so that you've got other people that can like help you to get these essays done.
Yes.
Like the more the merrier. It's going to get done so much faster. You've got the pre-work, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to be like, okay, like have each of them like share 3 things.
Okay.
Like, okay, so here's the thing that like I'm hearing could be best for you. It's like really compelling because I know what the topics are typically of the essays. I think that writing about hockey would be really great for you. I think, okay, Savannah, I think writing about your parents' divorce could be really, really helpful for you. I think that like because of this essay, I think that like writing about how you did volunteer work with the SPCA could be really great for you, Danielle. Okay, like you see what I'm saying? Like see like all of those kids and being like, it's like, what do you guys think? Like giving them like, because I think like in high school, it's like we're trying to give autonomy, but it's like group work is just weird because you're not really taught how to like have roles in a group. So it's like no one really knows how to do that.
Right.
But like actually being like building a community of people who like care. And they're like, okay, like all these kids are like, we're all trying to get into schools.
Right.
We all are trying to do this. This is like the hardest time. A lot of things are happening. Relationships are happening, not happening anymore.
Right.
Like,
right.
all these, like, there's a lot of dynamics that are going on. And I want this group to be a place where like you feel supported and you can go to like your next level,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
And so it's like thinking about, okay, so like they're going to do it. And then
right.
like they're submitting it to you
mm-hmm.
and maybe giving like feedback, like, because I think that can be a difficult thing in like a lot of our schools is like, even like for me as like a adult, like getting feedback in the US is like a really like harsh, mostly seen as negative thing. So like giving like positive praise and lots of feedback, and like maybe you could like have a dynamic where you like put someone's like essay up and being like, okay, like let's work through this together. Like, is there anything like these are the things I think could make this even better? What do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think could make it even better? It doesn't need to be that collaborative if you don't want it
right.
to be, but like
right. But you could.
But you could, and you could make
mm-hmm.
it feel like that could have them stepping into like this leadership energy as well. Like, if this is like my dream school, how do I want them to see me as a person? And knowing that if I don't get into the school, it doesn't mean anything about me as a person either.
Right.
Like there's so many other factors. So it's like, oh, they're going to do the 10 steps, right? They're
mm-hmm.
just going to have to do it. So the
and
parents
usually they don't buck. They generally do not buck the system. Now, when I do my son and my nephews, yes, they buck the system. But besides those people, I mean, they're just grateful to have help because and especially in the public schools, private schools are smidge different, but the public schools, they don't write.
Yeah.
They don't read, they don't write. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they've never done anything like this.
Yeah. It's a different kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And we love the public schools. We love
oh
all
my gosh, I love them.
But like I think it's like the kind of environment where I think you've been told to do everything your whole life.
Right.
And then you get this autonomy to do something for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always, I think the shift is that like you're always told the next thing to do, and this is the first place where there are multiple paths.
Yeah.
And you're in control of where this car goes.
And it really
it's like
matters.
And
it really matters.
It really does.
Up to now, nothing really matters. So yeah, it'd be nice to score the soccer goal, but if you don't, it's okay. But this is legit. That's the first time I've been hit. Yeah.
So it's like I think having like that's for them, why could being in a group be even better or the same value as being one-on-one with you for them?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think it could be good for them?
Being in a group versus one-on-one?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you said, they can collaborate. My God, nobody likes to talk about themselves more than a teenager. You know,
Yep.
they love to be heard. They love to be stroked. They love to, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? They love themselves, which is, it's good. So, and I feel like too, it'd bring, like, I just am sitting here thinking about the kids that I've had. And it's funny because when I have these, I'm like, God, I'd love to get y'all together. Y'all
Mhm.
would all be new best friends. Not
Uh-huh.
that this is what this is about, but
But it does like bring in, it's like, I also think that like when you talked about like being heard, supported, celebrated,
right.
I also think that a lot of us, like for me, if you were to look at what I looked like in high school versus who I actually was, I was going through so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was going through like a ton of stuff with like my life, like figuring out stuff. Like I'd also already been through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like Mrs. Geist, and I was like, you know, I'm like a very happy-go-lucky person.
Mm-hmm.
And like I kind of want to read something darker. And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she had me read I did a whole piece on the Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath because I was actually dealing with depression. And it was like this whole thing that like no one knew about that. But like only like my deep, deep people did. And like to be in a group of people that are like, okay, I can see like this very peppy person and also know that she's been through so much shit and like a totally new level of respect from
Mm-hmm.
her, from my peers, like, and it's like almost like cathartic to like write and like get those things out and being like, this is who I am, this is who I've been, and like,
Yeah. Yeah.
see, like, and like even if they go to the same school, they'll see those people in like a completely different light. It's like, oh my God, like Demarius, I had no idea that your parents were getting divorced. Like, I'm really sorry. Like that sucks. Like maybe they're in the
Right.
same even classes, and then they're like, but they see each other now in a different light
Right.
because they have this opportunity to be vulnerable in front of each other
Right.
in a place that feels safe, you know.
That's
And
true.
so it's like there's also like an element there of like, hey, like this group is going to get you the college essay that's going to get you the future that you want. Like this is huge. If you betray the trust of the group, then there's a two-strike system. We'll have one conversation and the next time you're out.
And your mama already paid me to that.
Yeah. And be very clear with parents
Yeah.
about that and be like,
Yeah.
hey, so here's the thing, like this is the deal, and be like, that's where it's like it's called being like a warm demander. That was like something that like we learned about. It's like being like, I love you and I'm gonna respect your best and I expect your best. And like facilitating that like environment of like we don't cross each other. We're like a family now. Like this is our little family of five. We're gonna support each other because especially like with if they're writing about things like this girl like had a complete mental breakdown,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like we're gonna respect that.
Mhm.
And like even if you've never been there, it's like this is also like amazing building empathy and things like that. And I
Right.
think most students would be on board, but you do need to set that like this isn't a conversation that like you're with your other friends and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this person said this.
Right.
Like this is so stupid. It's like writing is hard. There is
Mm-hmm.
and it's all very unique. It's like art. It's like there are some people who have way more experience. There are other people who have it. There are other people who we really need to work on. We are never going to judge each other's art.
Right.
Or writing, you know?
Right.
So it's like, I think like you really have to set that tone. But once you do, then it's going to be like the best group ever.
I would think so too. I think that would be like sort of, what was that movie, The Breakfast Club? You know, where they all
Yeah. Literally like,
yeah, that's what I'm picturing.
yes. Yes.
When they
That
all became
is
best friends. I think two fell in love. Yeah, it was a good thing.
because they were seen from all different areas. They were actually seen as themselves
Right.
in the Breakfast Club, you know? So
Yeah, maybe I need to watch that again. Maybe that'll inspire me.
I think so too. Like, and I wanted to like paint that vision for you of like what this could be for them.
Yeah.
Like, how are you the best person to create the Breakfast Club?
Well, I have the experience doing it. I know what I'm at this point. I know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this several times, so I know what I'm doing, and I love it. This is what I love to do. This is the age that I do. I've dealt with all the age groups. This is my place. High
Yeah.
school was my thing. If I could go back, I mean, obviously I'm happy with where I am,
Yeah.
but I loved high school. I loved it. So now I get to
Yeah.
continue to relive it for these people. It's really fun.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's like when you know, like that's how I know
Mm-hmm.
that like this is your purpose. Like this, I
I
think what
know.
you're supposed to do. And like also like the way that you talk about writing is like it makes me want to write. And I was not a person that loved writing. Learn to learn to get into that. But then
Right.
it's like now that you can see this like awesome breakfast club, like small niche like group kind of thing.
Right.
Now when you reach out to those parents and you're like, this is actually going to be like nothing that has ever been done
Right.
before. No one's doing anything like this. I want you to think about this like being the breakfast club that leads to the essays for your kids to have like the best future possible
Right.
for them. And I think they are going to be such a good part of it. Something like that,
Yeah.
you know?
I do too. I mean, the interesting thing about this too, of course, nobody wants to write essays in the summer, right? Nobody's excited to do this. But I've yet to have one complaint about doing it. I mean, I'm not if we're not having fun, it's not going to happen because I'm too,
Right.
I have better things to do than sit around with grumpy people. So if it's going to be no fun, and I've yet to have, I had one kid that I could have dealt without, but that's one out of like 100. But
Yes.
so generally the kids are, and then they need you, or they need the help. They can do this, but they feel like they need the help.
Right. And it's like, and they can't get the support from anyone else. Like
No,
their parents aren't supporting, like they don't know how to, they don't have the
no.
experience. And like,
And the schools can't, even like your St. David's, your
art.
Ravenscrofts, they can't because, I mean, that's against what they do. They can't help with the essays.
Yep. So it's like, this is like the perfect time.
Yep.
And I think that like, I want you to think about your business as like being something really fun
Right.
too. Like it's like if you're like and I want you to like message these like people. It's so funny because you're like, I'm not sure if the group thing will work, but now it's like, do you see how it's
Mm-hmm.
like the best thing for them?
And then what's really cool too is I know I've told you this. So I've got my son and I've got my nephew. I mean, clearly I'm not getting paid for my son or my nephew.
Yeah.
And then I've got a best friend who the mom's helped me a ton. So those three, there you go. And then I just put in a couple of little guinea pigs that have called. Like now I'm full with that. So then there's my group of 5.
There's your group.
And the nephew and the son have to behave or I'll be, they have to behave.
Yeah.
So.
And then it's like, you could see, and you could honestly, like, one of the things that you could do to get them on board to be like vulnerable with you and things like that, because like that might be difficult for them. I don't know if you guys have like that kind of relationship, but being like, hey, like, I know this could help so many people in the future, and I know it's helped you guys. Like, please give me, like, being vulnerable with them back and being like,
Right.
this is where I really see like the future of this. Like, I know that this could pay for y'all's college. Like, I really do think that this could be like something really big and really important for like so many people. I would love your feedback. And like, didn't you say that like, was your son like helping you with social media or something?
Yeah.
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 So being
Yeah,
like,
George is good.
So yeah, so being like, George, it's like, I really, really appreciate you being a part of this group, and I want your feedback, and I want like your help to like grow and build this business to be something that's like really awesome.
Yeah.
That's like something no one ever seen. And same with like your nephew,
Yeah.
like being like, hey, like I want to make this like the best thing that you've ever experienced. Like, to help me if there's anything I can do to make that happen. Like let me know.
And they would love that. They love, and not just teenagers, but teenagers just get picked on for what they are. But everybody loves to have their voices heard, right?
And maybe like I would like start like I was like it's like the transaction is vulnerability on both sides. So like something that like you could do to like build in the vulnerability for everybody. It'd be like, I did not like writing, or like saying something, a story about yourself that was like, if
Right.
I were to have to go back and do this, like I would have wrote about like something that was really hard for me.
Right.
And I also did this, but it was like, this was a really hard thing for me to share. And I wish I'd had a space like this for people to be like super respectful and mature and responsible, because that's the kind of environment that like I want to create here. And like sharing something about yourself to like be like, okay, so here's where I'm going to be vulnerable with all 5 of you teenagers. Like now it's almost like then they're like, they feel safe to be vulnerable with you because you've been vulnerable with them. And being like, I think this is going to be so brilliant though. I'm
I do too.
so excited for you. And
it makes me really nervous, but every time that anything good happens or anytime that you have that nervous feeling, you know what I mean? I've just never done this before. And you know how my technology skills are. They're getting better, but
you've got this. You really do. Like, it's like,
okay.
You are so smart. I know you're going to figure this out. Like, there's no way that you figure this out.
Maybe we'll see.
I know it. Like, it's absolutely, it's already happening. I promise.
I mean, look, here I am. It took me a new phone to figure it out, but here I am.
Exactly. Which is so awesome. And I'm so proud of you. I think this is so amazing. Keep up the fantastic work.
Thank
and
you.
I will potentially see you next week, or maybe another time.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, I'll come. You know, I love coming to these. I love them.
I love them too. Oh,
thank you, Miss Wing.
And I love you guys.
seeing you.
And I will see everybody next week.
Thank you.